Hello friends, headaches, night vision problem or problem with the right eye, hair fall or in some cases even baldness. These are some of the problems which otherwise this fantastic position of Sun in the first house for Leo sign in Leo Ascendant gives you. This placement of Sun right here in the very first house in Leo sign is considered to be the giver of many great qualities in a person as well as many great events in life. And in next few minutes we will see how this Sun affects your personality, overall life experience, including your married life, because Sun from the first house directly aspects the seventh house of your marriage and marriage partners. And we'll also see some of the remedies which can be used to overcome the possible challenges which this placement causes. So we have Sun in the very first house or in the sign of Leo, and we know that the first house or ascendant shows your personality, both physical personality as well as mental personality, because first house is the house of your head, and head contains your brain, and it shows how your mind or brain works. So let's first talk about physical personality. Now we know Sun is not as pleasing to look at as say Moon or Venus. In fact, we can hardly look at the Sun. So these guys don't have the most prettiest or beautiful or good looking face. However, they have a great attraction. They have a great magnetic personality. We know that Sun is the center of our zodiac or of our solar system, and every other planet revolves around it. Sun has a fantastic magnetic pull. And similarly, though people with this kind of Sun, they do not have the most beautiful face, however, they possess a magnetic attraction, a magnetic personality, and people are drawn towards them. And they have such a presence, they have a royal presence, so that in such a way that people almost throng upon them as if they are being sycophant of these guys, not just friend. There's an undue admiration which these guys can attract in any gathering, and it will be difficult to explain why this is happening, because as I said, they may not have the most beautiful or quintessentially delicate features or anything like that. Still they will have a magnetism or a charm which will pull everyone towards them. And needless to say that they love that kind of attraction which they get. Now secondly, about their face. Now Sun is known to give a squarish kind of shape to the face. There are different kind of face types, oval, circular, etc. But whenever Sun is strong, and especially in this kind of position, the face structure would be broad and squarish. It will be little bony. Hairs. Sun is known to give very less hair, because hairs are represented by Saturn, and Sun and Saturn are sworn enemies. So many times people with this kind of placement either have very thick hair or coarse hairs, and they must take good, they need to take care of their hair basically. In fact, they can suffer from hair loss across the scalp. Different kind of planets can cause hair loss at different parts of the scalp or different parts of the head. But with this placement, generally the density of hair on the head is very less. But nonetheless, that less hair, they never affect the magnetic personality which these guys possess. Now let's talk about their mental personality, about how they think and behave. Now this has clearly two aspects to it. The first aspect is extreme self-respect. It is to the point where people can consider them to be egoistic. They have a great pride in themselves. They can never ever in any situation compromise about their self-esteem or self-respect, and it is to such an extent that people can feel that they get offended very easily. They can take offense to any small thing which they perceive to be hurting their pride. So anyone who is around such people, please be careful. Anything which even remotely feel offensive is a topic which should be avoided with these kind of people. Now, this is obviously given that it a lot depends on how Moon and Venus and other softer planets are placed in the chart, but speaking strictly based on this placement of Sun in Leo, that they are extremely aware of their own self-respect to the point of being easily irritable. Now, the other part of the personality, which is also one of the Sun's great trait, is extreme generosity. Now, Sun is a king, and a very, very generous king at that. So once you get over this extreme self-respect and egoistic kind of behavior, you will find the guy to be one of the best friends. They can do anything for people they like. They could be extremely magnanimous and ever ready to help others. Though Sun in the first house with this Leo sign also gives them a voice which could be very heavy. So there is this clear dichotomy or perceived dichotomy in their personality. On one hand they may feel to be extremely prideful, extremely aware of their own self-respect to the point of being egoistic and easily irritable, and on the other hand there is this extreme generosity which is always on display. Now again, from the physical point of view, physical personality point of view, the Sun here, the strong Sun in Leo, offers a strong body, and it is a body which is having a good immunity power. It is able to fight off disease as well, which is a great thing. However, because Sun is a fiery sign and Leo is also a fiery element, there is an excess of fire or heat. So they do suffer from excess heat or excess acid in the body, which could result in things like boils. They're easily susceptible to having heat strokes or fever, and that can even cause headaches because first house represents your head. Now, Sun is also the natural karaka or significator of fame or being well known among society. Now, Sun is a social planet. It represents society. It doesn't represent artist or cinema as such, but if there are other aspects like Venus etc. better placed, they could even do well in art area as well. But generally speaking, being Sun and Leo combination, they do well which in any field which is related to government, administration. They are good admins, they are good officers, they are good social reformers, and they are someone who can take care of many people. See, Sun, our entire solar system is solar powered. Sun, without Sun nothing would exist. Sun actually takes care of life in the entire solar system just like a father does. And similarly, these people, because of their generous nature also, they can take care of many people and do very well in any government position. And similarly, this position kind of shows that a person will reach to a very high position in any field. Even if they are in private sector, they would probably become the CEOs and the directors of the company. Even in cinema, they would be more interested in doing things like directing others rather than, acting or singing. But obviously that depends on how the 10th lord and moon, etc. are placed in the horoscope. Now let's talk about marriage, because sun from the first house aspects the 7th house, which shows your spouse and business partners. So this strong sun having a full aspect on the 7th house of marriage gives people born with this combination an expectation that they want their partners or spouse and even business partners to be a strong personality. They don't want them to be weak or emotional. They like people who can stand on their own, and they only respect that. They don't respect weakness. And when they find someone with this kind of personality, the marriage life actually works well, and both the spouse as well as the person, they do well together, especially in the social circle, because when they both are strong personality, they will have their own individual life as well. They need space. Both of them would require space in their lives. They don't want someone who just clings on to them all the time. But otherwise, once this part of their personality is satisfied and taken care of, the married life goes on happily. Now, one more thing about the personality which the sun in Leo imparts is that these people love to travel. And especially they love to travel on areas which are like high mountains. Leo and sun both represents high, royal things, mountains which are, mountain peaks, not the snowy mountains, but the hilltops where they can see a great scenery, they can see the valleys, they love to be on top. They also like to visit old heritage places, especially the old castles and forts. They are very keen on exploring those places. So if you are planning to go on a trip with them, and even many times we have seen people choose such heritage old places for their honeymoon, because sun has a direct aspect on the 7th house. So my dear friends, this was my quick analysis of sun in the first house in Leo sign. I hope you like this. Please do subscribe to my channel and comment for more interesting videos. Until we see you again, have a blessed life. Bye bye.